Welcome back, Nuggets. This mother clucker's got some thoughts. Let's ruffle some feathers and get into this live stream. Hello, everybody. Hi, LV and Cramlings. Thank you so much for being here tonight to mod for me. And LV, thank you so much for subscribing with your Prime over on Twitch. I really appreciate that. Hi, Veronica. Oh, thank goodness for this live. Amber talking clucking shit about autism has you on fire. I haven't heard that, and I would probably share that sentiment. Hi, Lizaraptor. Hello, Furball. Hi, Canadian Bacon Bits. Hey, clowns. 3 a.m. You should not be awake. Go to sleep. This will be on replay. I love that you're in here, though. Thank you so much. Hi. Cat Celestial. Also 3 a.m. Hello. Hey, Raw Olives. I like your name. Hi, Lanky. Hey, Lefay. Hey, Dancer Gal. Hi, Cats. Hi, Dexla. Hello, everybody. How is everyone today? Hey, Darkwick. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Hello. Hello, everybody. So I've got this poll going, and I actually, when I pushed my live back a day, I actually had to close the poll that was on, and it was the same result at that point. Okay, a couple of things, my nuggets, before we get into this. Firstly, if I don't seem quite myself, I am still a little bit unwell, just feeling very, very fatigued at this point. So but since this is like my most favorite thing to do ever, here I am. I wanted to be here and look at apparently more Rachel ridiculousness. I kind of like this letting you vote, like giving you a selection, and then we roll with it. Cats. It's 7 a.m. here. I was awake by my cats. Hello, Carvin. Oh, you're just so numb to Amber that her shit doesn't really make you angry anymore, just disappointed. My goodness, that is a statement. I share that sentiment. Yes, I do. Okay, the other thing that I need to say, and I'm about to really test the community trust here, my nuggets. As you know, I'm dog sitting Maxie at the moment. Maxie, the last couple of days, seems to have had a little bit of a tummy upset. So if you hear any sort of suspiciously human-sounding gas leaks during the stream, I swear it's the dog. It's not me. So I don't know who's going to believe that, but we're going to roll with that. Also, highly sus in combination with me saying that I've been unwell. Lizaraptor, how are you, Vera? We're all sick in my house too. I'll be in and out because I'm making dinner for the fam. Oh, I'm so sorry, Liz. No problems though. Must have been the wind. It reminds me of Skyrim, you know, must have been the rats. You think we can all relate somehow? Layla, sure. Okay, don't forget to get your votes in for who we're going to watch, everybody. At the moment, Rachel, talking about Amber Rage, is in the lead. Although, I will say that there's actually 2 interesting videos from Rachel. Notice how I have to search her name every time because I don't want to subscribe. I really don't. So this is the video that I'm talking about here, where she's basically just reacting to the apathetic facts video that I was going to react to as well. But I know that in that video, apathetic facts calls Rachel the Emily's side piece. So I would like to see Rachel reacting to that. But apparently in this video, she gets a little bit snuggly with the concept of Emily, I guess. Very complimentary, I believe, is what everybody's been telling me. So I'm happy to do either of those. Oh, thank you so much, Cramblings. If you'd be also kind as to like the stream. Your kiddo and you have been reading the BFG, and the BFG says that whiz poppers are not only healthy, but fun and polite. Let's go with that, shall we? Liz, if you could be in the room smelling these, you would not call them fun or polite. Oh, LV, it's 2 a.m. for you as well. She's not Emily's type? Maybe not yet. Maybe. But what I did want to do while you're getting your votes in is my community tab is working again. And I'm so excited because now I can go through things and I'm way behind. Way behind. By the way, did anybody watch Single White Female? I have to say, the last time I watched this movie, I was in my, edgy teenager phase who wanted to watch all the thrillers and all the horrors, and I was thoroughly creeped out by this movie. I just rewatched it the other night, and it's fairly tame, I have to say, in this day and age. Oh no, cats. You did watch it, no one warned you about the dog. I actually just remembered at the moment where I was seeing the puppy being introduced, and yeah, otherwise I would have warned everybody. By the way, if you don't know and you're sensitive to these sorts of things or just want general trigger warnings, if you're not aware of the website called doesthedogdie.com, you need to go over there and check it out because it keeps a catalog of pretty much every trigger warning in every movie and every TV show and even some books that you can just go up and it describes to you what you would be seeing. So whether it's graphic or whether it's not, or, things like that. I love that website. Doesthedogdie.com. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I just wanted to go through this. So if anybody wants to share things with the class, this is where to do it. It's on my community tab. If you go to my website and click community page, I think it's called, you can do that there. So Geek Endeavors, you saw this on TikTok, finding chicken containers at TJ Maxx and thought of Vera instantly. Oh my gosh, I love them. I want them. I do have a set of cookie sugar thing containers that have a different farm animal on each one, and one of them is a chicken. Yes, you watched it for the first time last night. There's a lot of boobs. Yes, there is. Were female friends really that comfy with each other in the 90s? Like just being naked around each other? Not in my experience. I do believe there may have been some lesbianic undertones of that movie. It seemed a little more than friends. Oh, I agree so much, Carvin. Can media stop including pets just so something BS, I guess, can happen for them to only for the shock value? I agree with you. I hate it so much. And people are very cavalier with chickens as well. Like that doesn't factor at all and it hits hard. You say lesbianic all the time. Oh, you asked your husband, Creeds, you asked your husband to get, I don't think she's in here at the moment, to get gifts that represent you for your birthday. You're impressed. Very, oh, I can't read that. I'm so sorry. But they smell like something? I'm actually watching Seinfeld at the moment. Sorry, I have so many to catch up on. Oh, thank you, LV. Be Like Water, I want to thank you for such a lovely stream this past week. That stream made me realize that the time had come to take some shit out. I love that. I love that so much. Yes, this is what I wanted to show you all. So you all know that I released an official Vera crochet pattern, and Angelica has finished this. And I saw this right before my community page went down, and I was so sad. Finally finished the crochet chicken, loved it so much. It turned out better than expected. I couldn't find any proper stuffing in my supplies, so I used the same color yarn as the pieces to stuff them, which worked surprisingly well. You crocheted with Red Heart Super Saver in the bright colors. Also used a 3.5 hook. That totally works, by the way. I like the 2.5 just because it makes it a lot tighter, but 3.5 works just as well. I love that so much. But look, 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 look. Are you ready? Chicken butt. Yeah, so if anyone isn't aware, on my Patreon page, I've released it for free, so you don't have to, I don't even think you have to be a member to access it. It's just there for you. If there's any crocheters in the place, yeah, go check that out. Okay, all right, I'm going to close this. We are watching Rachel. Am I at all surprised? No, I'm not. Thank you so much for everybody who voted. Let's get into this, shall we? Can I get in the chat a 1 for this listening to your Amberlynn read hot takes, where apparently she gets a little too complimentary of Emily, or a 2 for reacting to apathetic facts, calling her a side piece? I will give you a heads up. I think it's unlikely that we'll get through this one in its entirety, but we can just finish it on the next stream as well. So please get your votes in. Which one would you like to see? You're the same way. People massacred, meh. Animal gets hurt, lifelong trauma. I feel that. I feel that a lot. Actually, one of the true crime channels that I watch, Emma Kenny, I watch all of her stuff, and there's frequently a lot of children related stuff in there as well, but she just did an animal specific one where they're the victims, and no, I'm not watching it. I cannot watch it. Just the timestamp of the side piece. We probably could just watch that bit if you want to, because it looks like people are wanting one more so. Oh, Liz, you watch Emma Kenny. Yeah. I've been watching her for so long. But no, not that particular episode. I didn't. What I will say, for my mods, or anybody for that matter, would somebody be willing to find me the timestamp of that side piece comment, and then we can just watch that bit, and then we'll watch the listening to your Amberlynn Reid hot takes. How does that sound? If someone can get me that timestamp, I'll stop what we're doing and then keep going. But for now, I'll just pop that one over there. Actually, to be honest, I could probably just search it in its transcript. No. Apparently not. Oh, there. Ah, okay, yes, I found it. Okay, let's watch this bit. Just one moment, please. One moment. Oh dear, I actually don't think that this is just Australian internet. This is YouTube has been doing this lately. What is it? 2434.
Hello, welcome back. So if you haven't...
Shush. I'll just go 20. Let's just go to 24 there. Okay.
Questions I've been having to restrict myself from asking because she's like, oh, we can't talk about this. We can't talk about that. Oh, she just went on nuts to try and, like, I think, shop around for a new replacement. And you know what they said? No, I'm not going to host Buzz. Tanya was like, I'm not going to fucking work with you. What the fuck? Look, the opportunity would be nice, but it'd be a fucking nightmare to be in front of that many people working with, you know, Amberlynn Reed. I want her here.
And of course, yet another voice note from Emily was released today by Emily's side chick, Rachel. People are speculating that this might be happening because Emily is currently visiting Amber, so Rachel might just be trying to stir things up while she's there.
Yeah, stirring shit is my new favourite pastime, for sure.
You know what?
She liked it. She liked it. Oh, Crumbling said buffering too. Does Aussie internet trump Kiwi internet? Oh no, did I miss something? Oh no, I didn't. Oh, Sanjay. Thank you so much for being a clucker for 3 months. Thank you so much. Yes, she is truly smug. For my nuggets, I have done all the way up to like icons for 11 months. The 12-month one, I think Giselle is in the lead and she is my longest member. And I really need to add more icons because your little egg hatches over time and you get to be a baby chick, and that's where I've done to. I cannot forget. I must do that very, very soon. You can see her ego grow with every little mention. Yep. And see, the theory being at the moment that people think that Emily is with Amber at the moment and that Rachel is trying to cause chaos for them while they're there. And once again, I just want to say, can we just for a moment, if that's true, we don't know that's true, but if it is, just for a moment, forget that it is Emily and Amber that we're talking about. And how dare this woman interject herself into a relationship that is none of her business just to cause chaos while they're together. That's inappropriate on several levels, and it is nothing short of stalker activity. AIC cats. Oh, whoops, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Oh, I cannot. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Clucking crew. Thank you. There are members only videos waiting for you. And there's going to be a little something else for members very shortly too that I am cooking up just a little bit. Emily, Fog, and the Journey to the Center of the Earth. Hello, Veronica. Hi. Yeah, Proto Pixie, she looks really pleased with herself. She does. She's so proud of herself that she can go in and cause chaos in a relationship. Oh, sorry. Rachel face pressed to the window screaming, notice me. You watched a hummingbird nest live cam and a baby hatched and had the shell on his head like a little hat. Oh, so adorable. Popped in your head when you're talking about hatching eggs. Hello, Black Sun Empress. First time catching a live. Greetings from Germany. Hello. All the way from Australia. Yeah, so I think that's kind of the point. I don't think she's going to say anything else, but let's just see.
Let's take a quick break. Can you watch this with me?
I'm ready. Before we play this, I'm just going to add here, one of the interesting things about this voice note in particular is if you listen to right at the beginning of the voice note, I beep out a section, and what Emily is actually saying there is that Amber would kick off and push boundaries in front of Emily's kid, and this is just another sign of what an awful person Amber is, and that's really the main reason I released this. I mean, you know me.
And look at what a benevolent person Rachel is being by releasing this quote-unquote tea of a DV victim who she labeled as a DV victim as objective fact herself. Just, I mean, it's pretty much what I expected it to be. I don't think we've already done this voice note. I don't necessarily think we need to do it again, do we? Yeah, it could backfire for her. Amber is not above doxing, and Rachel was already doxed when the Discord stuff happened. Yeah. Yeah. It's too close. It's just way too close. Yeah, Darkwick. She was fighting to keep herself from smiling, which is even more concerning. She really, really loves it. It's why I say there's a dark turn that's happened somewhere. She is meddling now. You know, like at the first point where she was doing all the Emily stuff, it was like an interview almost, but this is, even though it's smaller, it is more sinister. Amber is the awful person, or is Emily a bad mother for allowing this to happen? Yes, to both of those questions. Oh, hello, Viga. Rachel gives you the vibes of, well, in my objective opinion. Yeah, she actually directly says that. You just quoted her. You think people would react differently to Rachel releasing Emily's voice notes if Amber was a dude, but sadly, DV caused by women is often seen as a lesser thing. Actually, I think there is a real double standard overall in gay relationships, whether it's men or women. It's almost like domestic violence is seen as lesser if both of the participants, or, you know, the victim and the perpetrator, are of the same gender. And I think even far worse for men in that situation, where there's almost a stigma to report DV that they're experiencing, especially if it's at the hands of a woman as well. But like, it is. And I don't think people are fully taking into account what you just said, and I think that's so pertinent, and we need to remember that. Hello, B Thimbles. First time catching a live from England. Been up all night with your poorly little brother, so haven't slept yet. Relaxing with me. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've seen you in my comment section though, haven't I? I remember the name. Well, welcome. I'm glad you caught a live. Sorry for the circumstance. Okay. All right. Well, that's appalling. Let's go to the other one. All right. So this one, I'm going to speed it up. And
Hey guys.
Shush, Rachel, shush. I'll speed it up a scooch because I've actually remembered. Again, I'll pull it down if it's too fast, but we'll try and get through this. I believe in us. I believe that we can do this. So we're back to Emily being a victim Rachel. Pick a lane. I'm sick of hearing Rachel acting like she knows anything about TV. I agree. I know we pretty much say it every single stream that we cover her, which is like pretty much every single stream. But yeah, I agree. Thank you so much, LV. Hello, all the lovely lurkers too. Welcome, and don't hesitate to chime in. Love that you're here. I echo that. Thank you so much. Yes, there are so many talking has left the chat. There are so many similarities between Rachel and Snowflake. Snowflake interviewed her exes, etc., but as soon as Amber mentioned his divorce, he amped up the hate train, and Rachel is the same. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, I could understand how it would feel like an attack from Amber when it gets personal, but also they started it. They did. Okay, awesome. Let's get into this one. We'll see how we go, my nuggets.
So yesterday there was another episode of Lolcow Bus. It's this episode here. I decided not to react to it, partially because I watched it and it just wasn't really about anything. It was basically Amber, who did of course turn up to her shift, as we all knew that she would, arguing back and forth with Tech in a very kind of boring, childish, dismissive way, where they were just trying to tell each other to apologise, and basically neither of them would, and neither of them really did, and then Tech made an apology, but Amber still wouldn't, and the whole thing was just so, like, I don't know, dull and not very entertaining. So I decided, sod that, I'm not even going to bother diving into it with you guys, because it's just, I don't think worth watching. What is worth doing, in my opinion, is listening to you guys' voice notes. So I've been doing this thing where I've been asking you guys to send me voice notes and tell me your opinions on stuff in Girl World, generally Amber Lynn. So you can follow me on Instagram at Rachel the Python and send me a voice note, and that's what these people have done. So we're going to listen through a couple of these voice notes. There's one or two messages I'm going to read out as well, where the person didn't want to record their voice, but it was like interesting. I'm hoping this video is going to be quite short, a little short Saturday video, because it will be cool just to hear some of you guys' thoughts, but hopefully I can knock it out quite quick. So here we go.
Please do not mind my accent because I'm from Poland. And not really a hot take, but I've been following
I'm just going to slow it down because I don't know about all of you, but I take longer processing time for accents. So, yeah.
various lolcows for many years, and they all seem identical to me. I swear to God. As for Amber, I feel like no matter what Emily does, Amber will never break up with her. For them to split up, Emily has to break up with her. Amber is insanely codependent and will hold on to every crumb of praise she can get. She doesn't know the difference between a fetish and a preference. Thus, she genuinely believes that Emily is into all of her, not just her body. And if she's cognizant of that, she still gets what she wants as long as someone appreciates her body. It's not just being into fat people, since Amber is way more than just fat. Another thing, since Amber said...
Okay, so this will be interesting to hear Rachel's response to this, because as we've gone through, with this particular predilection, it's sinister at its core, right? Especially if you are the kind with the predilection of an active participant in the predilection, which means actively providing, you know, the food to a condition that it's very questionable whether somebody with that condition would be able to give consent to that kind of thing. I've done a whole video on it. If you want to go watch it, I think it was my last Rachel video that I did. I went very heavily into that whole predilection thing. But considering that this person has just said that Amber can't tell the difference between a predilection and a preference, that means that Rachel can't really answer to this without making Amber sound like the victim, right? Which is the opposite of what she's been doing. Hello, non-binary finery. I love your name. It feels good to say. In your opinion, Rachel does these type of videos with her audience so she can give her narcissistic thoughts and sound smart? I don't doubt that at all.
That she hadn't lied about abuse, and Emily says that that never happened. Do you think they both lied? Like, what's his stance on this? Because I'm genuinely so fucking confused. Sorry.
Okay, I'm going to pause that one there. Yeah, so I think that in terms of the whole, like, they both lied about abuse, or, you know, they've both lied. One of them says the other one did it, the other one says they didn't do it. They can't both be telling the truth. I think that, in my opinion, it's Emily who's told the truth, at least about that, in terms of the whole, like, kicking thing. Amber's lied so many times that, generally speaking, I believe
Of course she does.
Emily on that. And when I spoke with Emily, I actually found her...
Okay, wait. So let's put this into context, right? So Rachel has said that Emily is both a DV victim and a an active predilection person, right? In the particular, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know who Emily is. So those two things, we know that both of those things can be actually true, right? And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I do think that both Emily and Amber are perpetrators in their own way, and they're victims in their own way, to different extents, to different severities. It's, you know. But that means that right here, Rachel has just backed a very sinister predilection. Somebody who has a history of an unalived partner because of this, or maybe because of this predilection, maybe not, but this is what Rachel has presented it as, right? Yeah, let's defend Emily, right, Rachel? It's true. Rachel's interactions with her audience makes you uncomfy as you don't trust her maintenance of boundaries. I think that's really wise to feel. I do. You feel for all the folks that texted Rachel personal stories about their BPD or their DV stuff. Oh, and that actually reminds me, because Hector Kana did the same thing, and I've had some of those people in my community. I do still need to do that video. Thank you for reminding me.
Relatively level-headed, relatively calm, and most of the stuff that she said, the way she spoke, it was like
Level-headed and calm, yet also an active feeder.
vastly more believable than anything that Amber has ever said. So I think the kind of like conclusion I guess I landed on with that is that, I mean, they both clearly suck in their different ways, like Emily does with her preference for people that are on death's door, which I think is...
Now it's a preference. Oh yes, Veronica, it was you. I'm so sorry. I am really good at remembering events. I'm really bad at remembering events and matching them with names. I'm sorry, it's not that you don't matter. I promise you that. Oh, Hector Kana did a video with your email in it. He didn't even censor it? Yeah, it's written down in my list of videos to do. Actually, maybe that would be an interesting next one. Oh, interesting. Hello, Meh. You think Amber is a good candidate for frontal lobe dementia? Would explain basically all her perception of people and her environment. It can start early, especially at her lifestyle. You're not wrong. Yeah, that's a thing. Just your story, yeah. Layla, yes. Emily is smarter than ALR and is going to be calm with someone she's not in a fight with, or when she's secretly recording someone. Duh, Rachel. Yep. Well said. Well said. Absolutely. And that's the thing. That's what made me, do my misstep with touching the poo, which I thoroughly learned from and will never do again. Sorry, Maxie is being weird on the carpet now. I'm sure you can hear that. I'm sorry. Dogs being dogs. And now I've lost my train of thought. Oh, what was I just talking about? Oh, it's fully gone. Maxie, you broke my train of thought. Shame. Okay, I'm going to keep playing the video and see if I can remember what I was talking about.
Is like really gross and out of order. I think that of the two of them, Amber is probably, at least in that relationship, likely the one who's done more of the lying, and Emily's the one who's actually shown receipts, because generally Amber doesn't show receipts for anything she claims. She never does, even when...
Yes, thank you, Ruthie. Also, hello, hi. Yeah, I contacted Amber with a list of interview questions, and I'm so sorry. A list of interview questions because of the fact that the way Mr. Snowflake did his interview with Emily. Welcome, Shani. Thank you so much for subscribing on YouTube. The way Mr. Snowflake did his interview with Emily, it was written, right? So it was very easy for Emily to respond in a well thought out way, in a well presented way, and then Amber got on her live and responded in, the way Amber responds. So the nonsense that I got into my head was, well, I would like to hear what Amber sounds like when she is able to think out a response. It's redundant. We don't need to go there. I will not be doing it again. It was earlier in my reaction channel career. So, Emily at every single turn has been able to only present that level-headedness, because even if it's just talking to Rachel, like with the voice notes, that's in a calm situation where there's, not emotion going on. And so I just, we can't trust that narration because we don't know what she's like when she's in the heat of an emotional, situation. Oh, Liz, thank you so much. It was a fair idea. It was a stupid idea, but I really, I appreciate it. It's funny because then all of this Rachel stuff went down and I had the good fortune of learning from Rachel's mistakes in real time. So, yeah. Yeah. You think definitely, absolutely not a social worker here. Amber is a narcissist, sociopath. Check the diagnostic criteria. Amber is dangerous. I don't disagree with you. Narcissist is where I lean as well. But Amber is interesting because there's a lot of BPD, people with BPD in my community who say they see that in her, and I don't doubt that either. I think Amber is a little bit of a chameleon, which also lends itself to your sociopath theory. Oh, yes. I do not want to butcher your name. May I call you Les? Both Emily and Amber show interesting traits you can see in sociopathy. Both also chose careers high on the list of sociopaths. Oh dear. Oh dear. What does that say about me? Oh, Veronica. Are we shenaniganizing again? Thank you so much. You are far too generous to me. Emily is a psych nurse, so she doesn't need to be physical because she gaslights, manipulates, and uses Darvo, so the psychological torture is enough. Yeah. Yeah. That's how I see it playing out too. I think when you're with somebody like Amber, it's really easy to look like the level-headed, logical one. Thank you so much, Veronica. I appreciate you.
We know she probably has them. She still doesn't show them. It's very strange. I guess it could be that she knows if she starts showing receipts, then people will be able to say, well, you proved that thing, so why won't you prove this thing? So if she just never shows any receipts, then she can't have that kind of criticism said to her. So that could be it. I think in terms of Amber's self-esteem stuff, it's definitely true that she will probably accept any kind of treatment from Emily. And I think it's very true that Emily will have to be the one to leave Amber if that relationship is ever going to end. We know Amber doesn't leave. That's like one of the rules of Girl World, right? The girls never leave. And I think that that's probably expressed very clearly here. We have to remember as well, Emily and Amber are in a relationship. They have not seen each other in a year. I mean, I think Emily...
I'm sorry. Why are we using air quotations when we say in a relationship? Are long-distance relationships no longer valid, Rachel? Are we only saying that you can be in a relationship? I'm so sorry to anybody who's in the community or listening on the replay at the moment who's in a long-distance relationship, but Rachel's just gone and completely, removed your relationship status. I hope you're aware of that. Yes, Furball. Also, Amber is so mentally stunted that it's very easy to push her buttons. Yes. And then record the result should Emily want to do that. And Emily did do that. Woofer. Oh no. Oh, it started. I'm giggling. Okay, composed. God. Rachel throwing shade from the cuck chair. You're funny. Veronica, thank you so much. Again, Rachel is going to admit she has attachment disorder, so did she become attached to Emily? Oh, really? Spoiler alert. Interesting. Thank you so much, Veronica. Thank you. Hey, Becky. You wouldn't call what Emily and Amber have a relationship. You know, I think relationships can be defined in many, many different ways. I do not think they need to look traditional in order to be valid. I think that their relationship is questionable just based on the toxicity that's brought into it, but not necessarily the reason that Rachel is about to give, which is that they haven't seen each other in a year. That's ridiculous. What about people that work in Antarctica? What about people that work on, you know, those oil rigs in the middle of the ocean? Are they not in relationships as soon as they go off to work? Ridiculous. Veronica with the spoilers. Oh, Aqua. I'll say hello. More like the clock chair. I love that. Glad to know that you mistakenly believed you've been in a long distance relationship for 4 years. Glad that Rachel was here to enlighten you. Sorry, Viga, you are single now. You might have some explaining to do. Oh, Raw Olives, thank you so much. Thank you. I take it that's a timestamp. We are rapidly approaching it. I will keep an eye out. Thank you. Thank you so much.
She could be there now. If she's not there now, she's going to be there soon. And what sort of relationship is it where you constantly argue, the internet talks about you all the time, and you don't even see each other? So they're sort of like together, but are they really even together? I don't know. I don't mean to shit on long distance relationships in general, but this particular one, it seems so unhealthy and the dynamic seems so, like, I don't know, screwed up that I think it does matter that they never see each other, because it's kind of like, why are you even doing this? Just stop wasting your time. Neither of you are happy, and the dynamic's clearly unhealthy. But I think it's true, and has always been true of Amber, that she will accept what.
Okay, 444 is imminent. Raw Olives, that name is hilarious. It is, and my dyslexia. If you ever hear me pause before I say your name, it's probably because my dyslexia is doing something very fun with it. Raw Olives, you are raw wolvies. Okay, let's see what 444 has to say.
Whatever love anyone gives her, whether it's good, bad, healthy, or whatever, she's just, you know, falling over herself to just be loved, and she'll accept pretty much anything. If you tell her you love her, you can do whatever you want to her. And I think lots of abusers know that, and they see that in somebody, and they're like, oh, you're one of those people who will just accept any treatment. And they do say that people accept the love they feel they deserve, and it could be that that makes Amber very vulnerable to being abused herself, but equally she abuses other people like crazy. So I think the dynamic between her and Emily is probably quite screwed up. I think that
Probably. This is the take. This is the final stance that she takes, where she is being, you know, open-minded about perspective. Not when she's talking about one of them, like one by one though, but maybe just when, you know, they're considered together. You've been there, you're very dyslexic and have so many funny moments with it. Yeah, sometimes dyslexia is heckin' funny. Hello, Boop Cat. You don't think Emily has to go out of her way to manufacture drama, given drama is Amber's default? I agree. Oh, you read that as raw wolvies too. Not just me. Philosophy, Rachel Lynn. Did you know she has a degree? Hello, dead not sleeping. Wait, oh, I thought you changed your name there for a second. It got me again. You always feel a bit bad about your run-on ADHD ass whenever the dyslexics have to read it. I've dated a statistically improbable number of dyslexics also. Yeah, it is challenging. I think my brain has learned to compensate with learning grammatical rules. So the better you can speak in, grammatically correct ways, the easier it is for me to read. So it is really funny when I come up against, there's a lot of ADHD nuggets in the community. There really is. And we just delightfully challenge each other. I love it.
Amber needs to be worrying about her health, herself, not dying, losing weight and getting herself to a better position, and worrying about the LCU or some, arguably imaginary relationship with some woman who clearly doesn't care about her and only likes her for her size. I think it's just, kind of a waste of everybody's.
Okay, so now I'm back to thinking that I really cannot pick a lane here. Now I'm back to thinking that Rachel is after Emily. It's very conflicting. I swing, from one side where she is actually trying to steal Emily to the other side where she's trying to single white female Amber and is actually obsessed with Amber, and then Emily is just, the puppet that she enjoys playing with. I don't know. Now it's an imaginary relationship. It is. I'm so sorry, my long distance nuggets. Now not only are you single, but you have an imaginary relationship. Oh no! ADHD and dyslexic. You challenge yourself. I love it. Oh, Nashi. She should have gotten a culinary degree for her online lover. Well, technically they're long distance as well, so I suppose that's an imaginary relationship also.
This time, here's another one.
Ladies and gents, hey Rachel.
Hi.
I have two hot takes I kind of want to share with you, and they're both pretty grim, so I hope that's okay too. I want to preface this by saying that I am a nurse and I have been for over a decade, so I have worked with patients just like a girl for a long time. So, of course, I don't have any proof in what I'm saying is true, but I'm pretty certain based on just my experience. So the first hot take is that Amber's life is actually pretty fucking miserable. Like, she always tries to make us believe that her life is more exciting and greater than it actually is, like with bingo and blah, and doing all of this. But imagine yourself being maybe like 100.
Woofa, you crack me up. Sorry to pause this, but this was hilarious. I just looked over to see this. Rachel with a culinary degree. Sandwiches are food. It's so true.
50 pounds and carrying a backpack of 400 pounds on your back at all times. Like, her knees hurts. They weren't made for the constant pressure. And her back is killing her. The discs in her back are probably like dislocated. She cannot breathe lying down. She has sleep apnea, so her sleep circle is basically constantly interrupted. Like, imagine yourself not getting a good rest in like weeks until you basically collapse in exhaustion. She cannot breathe well. The weight is like crushing her from all angles. Her extremities, like arms or her legs, hurt because the fat cuts off the circulations in them. So she would experience like numb hands a lot of the time. Like, her life is in her gutters and she basically did it all to herself.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very true.
Yeah, I mean, it is obvious, but yeah, exactly, Becky. I don't think you need to be a nurse to know Amber is probably in pain. For those who hadn't listened to like previous streams that I've done, I actually worked out that I buy chicken seed bags. They're 18 kilos. Any mods maybe want to do the conversion for that for my US nuggets, but 18 kilos per bag. I worked out that Amber is carrying, like, if it were me, I would have to carry 8 of those bags at once to match Amber's weight, approximately. And I struggled to pick up one of those bags. Like, that's enough for me. I maybe at a stretch could do 2, but I wouldn't be able to walk very far. Almost 40 pounds. Thank you so much, LV. So yeah, 40 pounds per bag. That sounds right. So yeah, I don't doubt, like, can you imagine walking around? I think pet food sometimes comes in bags like that as well. It's a lot. Of course she's in pain. Or 2.8 stone for the English. Thank you so much, Wrinkle. Yeah, it's a lot of weight. It is. And the sad thing about it is that because we're so good at adapting to our situation and our bodies get used to it, Amber probably doesn't consciously know how much pain she's in compared to what we experience. That is her normal. That is what she knows. That is her everyday. And it's no wonder that, you know, people like her and people like Chantel, I know Chantel's not quite as heavy, but why just like getting off the couch is putting them out of breath. It's no wonder. Oh, Les, thank you so much. How may I ask, how do I donate to feed the chickens? You're in hospital. Thyroid cancer. I'm so sorry. You really adore seeing those happy souls. Oh. Well, I do have a chicken snack crew that you can join, like, just for a month if you wanted to, and then you actually get a personalized video. I'm about to release last month's one, but otherwise, in all honesty, kind of a lot goes to my chickens. And on here, on this channel, if you're giving me memberships, if you're giving me super chats, super stickers, even if you're just giving me views, at the moment, all of my money is either going towards chickens or it's going towards working on the personal tiny home project, which is going to lead towards the eventual rescue farm. So either way, it all benefits them in some way, shape or form. But yeah, if you want your own personalized video, head on over to Patreon and look at the Snack Crew videos, Snack Crew tier. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a speedy recovery. I know that's a rough one. And I hope it was caught very quickly. For many people who have been obese, as long as they remember, they have no concept of feeling light and having a clear mind. They think everyone is like they are. Yeah, I mean, to a point, we all do that, right? We all think that our baseline is the normal for people. And in the inverse of that, Eugenia's end of the spectrum does exactly the same thing to the mind. It's just, we are so good at adapting. All the money flows lead to the chickens. Yeah, pretty much.
I imagine that probably because of the way that YouTube is, you only ever see like a snapshot. You only ever see what the person allows you to see. Like, you guys see whatever you can see right here in my office, and then you see, like, if you follow me on Instagram, the odd picture I post every now and then on Instagram. But for the most part, you don't know very much about like what I do all the time, right? And I think that's the way that the internet is. You feel like you know the person because you see them talking and they appear to like look you in the eye, but I'm just staring at a camera. And I think there's a kind of a parasocial thing that goes on there, but also you feel that you're observing who the person is and like what they do. But really with Amber, I think a huge amount of her time is just spent lying down or like sitting down, and that will not only be having a detrimental effect on her mental health and her physical health, but it will also, I think, be driving her kind of mad. And there is sort of this need from her to present this facade of I mean, she's literally a presenter. Like, she sits on camera on her live stream or whatever in her vlogs when she used to.
I do agree with this. And another factor as well, I don't know if any of you have been like having to be bedridden for an extended period of time, or even just sedentary for an extended period of time. Muscles want to be moved. And if you're not doing the day-to-day standard movement, that hurts as well. So there's also that on top of it. No, no, Rachel, we don't think we are seeing the real you. Don't worry, love. Projection. Yes. She actually made it so clear she would never be parasocial. No, never. Never, never. Girl, we don't want to know you, but we have the general idea. Hello, secret bird. Bird. There's no B on the end of that. Oh, I am the lonely spaceman. Oh. I've been awake all night, but it's worth it to say hi. Love, a US viewer. Living here is suck right now, but hopefully things are changed for us and all the other countries we're hurting. I hear that. I'm so sorry. Hopefully it's not too late for you at the moment, but thank you so much for dropping in and saying hi. I always love to see new names. Yeah, you're very sedentary. You might be experiencing what I'm talking about as well. And it's even like worth it, if possible, to do like chair exercises or just a little bit of stretching or muscle tensing in bed and things like that, just to keep the muscles moving, because they need to. They like require it in a sense.
To do them, and she's like, hey, this is me. And I think it's easy to kind of like switch it on for that period of time, but if your fitness is so bad and your physical health is so bad that you kind of turn it on for those minutes while you're working or whatever, and then
she's an exercise scientist now. Pay attention, nuggets. Important information is coming.
You effectively kind of turn the camera off, and then you're like, oh, and you just have to lie there and do absolutely nothing because you've used all your energy. You are just keeping up kind of an imaginary performance, and I think that's what Amber's doing, and I think she's been doing that for a long time, and it's certainly getting worse. And the stuff you described about her health, like not being able to sleep and such, yeah, I think that's true. And I think lots of us forget that, you know, we talk about her and we giggle and stuff and say, wow, she's 600 pounds, but when you watch and say she's 600 pounds. Shows like My 600 Pound Life, and you look at the way those people live and the struggles they have, the kind of like physical.
I'm sorry, I just had this visual of Rachel sitting in her living room watching My 600 Pound Life and giggling to herself while she's shoving chocolate eggs in her face, messaging Emily. Can't undo that now. Yes, Rankle focusing on her genius. Exactly, teardrop Vera. I should be Veerdrop.
Like quite visceral problems, like your feet don't fit in shoes, you can't really get clothes that fit, your body will be like, you know, it will probably smell in a lot of areas because you can't wash properly, and if you can, it takes so much effort and time to wash and then dry and then talc or.
Les, thank you so much for being a member for 1 month. Thank you, Vera, for this kind community. It means a lot. Also, Rescue Farm is the dream. Definitely joining the Patreon. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's the ultimate goal, and we're about to undertake a step that is a very, very big one towards that goal. And yeah, my husband and I've been working towards this for like 13 years. It's been a while in the making. It's a very exciting point that we're getting to in life. But thank you so much. I appreciate you. You feel like she's the kind of friend that tells the chronic illness friend to push through and act normal. Yes, I feel that way too.
Cream or whatever, and if you think about her ankle folds and, you know, parts of her body that she'll struggle to get to, I think that she will be finding it much, much, much harder than she admits. And in a previous lolcow bus live stream, I'll put it here if I can find it, there's a clip where Amber goes, I can do everything a skinny girl can do.
Whoops, sorry. Whoops, stop. Shut up, Rachel. Yes, non-binary finery. And I said your whole name just because it's so much fun to say. Like, they're horrible people, a lot of them. Let's focus on that, yeah, not the weight or possible smells. it's so weird to you. I agree with you. I think there's so much to focus on with Amber, and anybody in Girl World for that matter, behaviorally, that you don't even need to get into the weight stuff. We know all of this, Rachel. Also, water is wet. Retail Andrew Tate is at it again. Telling all of us commoners what to think. Yes, but don't you feel enlightened by her presence? Hello, Maggie. Live stream and you're awake. Good morning. Good evening for me. I'm in the future. Haha.
Brantley's twerking in my face.
Fuck.
I'm gonna be doing that when my girlfriend visits.
Are you able to twerk? Like,
I'm able to do
logistically?
everything a skinny girl can do.
And as much as I think she wants to present that, and she says, oh, you guys are all fat phobic and we make assumptions about her based on her weight, the truth is she will be living a very difficult, painful, probably quite small life because of her size. And if that was happening to like anyone else, I'd feel really sorry for that person and I'd be like, ma'am, that sucks, that's so shitty. But I think because Amber has kind of monetized being a hated individual, she knows how to kind of turn that to her benefit.
So this is Rachel doing that insightful thing that Rachel does. You know, like if you saw the feminism arc video that I did on her, she was interpreting these song lyrics. Sorry, one moment. Interpreting these song lyrics that were very kind of literal in what they said, but she phrased it in a different way and did it in this same tone that she's doing right now. And it's just kind of like stating the obvious that everybody knows, but doing it in this kind of wistful way that is imparting her genius on us. LV, no problem, mods, going to leave this stream, but I'm gonna try to go back to sleep. Have a great one, everyone. Good night, LV. Thank you so much for popping in. You do so much for me.
And make money off it. So we almost don't think so much about her day-to-day struggles and her life because she is playing this character of somebody that we all hate. And if you think about how difficult her life must be physically, you almost want to start feeling sorry for her, which of course nobody wants to do because she's so horrible. There's a
Nobody at all. Don't get me wrong. I hold a lot of criticism for Amber, and I do kind of hate that the way Rachel phrases things, it makes me want to counterbalance her argument, which makes me sound very sympathetic towards Amber. She lost me with the LCU, she lost me with the animal treatment and all of that, but are we going to sit here and say that nobody ever feels sorry for her? We can't compartmentalize and acknowledge, yes, you've done some shit things, but your life is also very hard and I have empathy for that. Two things can be true at once, guys.
clip recently, somebody mentioned it. I haven't actually seen it. I'm hoping I'll be able to find it in the edit, where she says that she walks Twinkie multiple blocks, multiple times a day. And that is absolutely untrue. And I think part of Amber's kind of bravado and goal on the internet is to convince everybody that her life is normal. And that's definitely not the case. I mean, imagine how you'd feel if you stayed in your apartment constantly, never saw anybody else. The only positive interaction you have is with the DoorDash man and, you know, your phone when you sit on a live stream. That is going to make you go kind of mad. And I think the older she gets and the more, you know, her health declines, it is going to become quite sad. And there might become a point where it becomes like arguably unethical to cover her because her health is so significantly poor. And I think if you look at somebody like Hungry Fat Chick, Candy, if you guys know who she is, it's a similar kind of thing.
Oh, I'm not going to feel good about her talking about Candy. You leave the house once a week and your dogs are your company. Honestly, that's more than I do if my chickens are company. Yay, introverts. Which I do get the feeling that Rachel is probably not an introvert, just a feeling. I don't know that for sure. But extroverts genuinely don't understand how introverts get, you know, energy from not being around people. You share a lot of Amber's alleged illnesses, mental and physical, so you have to constantly check yourself to keep your sympathy bone to yourself. I think it's natural to want to have sympathy for her or empathy in some way. Did you know that she has a philosophy degree? Did you? Did everybody know? Yes, Carvin, no matter what Amber's health situation type deal is, you can still keep covering her in an ethical way. Yeah, I agree. And I think the thing to remember, and I also, although Rachel frustrates me a lot because of how confident she says some of these things, I still have the same thing in the back of my mind for her as well. We are all just people generally trying to survive the world in the best way we can. A lot of us are going to cluck up on that journey through that, and hopefully when we do, we catch ourselves and learn from it and grow. And that's why it's so important that I leave room for people to grow. I don't want people to see themselves in these people that I cover and feel boxed in to say they're never going to change, because they can change. They have to want to change, but they do have room to grow. Well, this is part of the problem, isn't it, Veronica? Not Rachel. Rachel is perfect. Yeah. And I will hold criticism for her while she stays on this trajectory. As soon as she starts to look like she's starting to have some perspective outside of her own mind, actually start to right some of her wrongs, pull away from this weird stalker thing that she's got going on, then I will start to sing her praises. And I will. You can hold me to that. I will do that. If there's anybody else get a creepy feel, is there anybody else get a creepy feeling like Rachel talks about Amber like she knows her in real life? Yeah, she does the same with Emily too. It's very familiar. Very, very familiar. Yeah, all people have a chance to be better, but like Rachel is proudly and happily being this way. Yes, hence the current criticism. Knowing how it looks, knowing what people think. Yeah. Yeah, right now she's not ready to change. She doesn't acknowledge that there is change that needs to be done. Bless your sweet little heart, Vera. Well, let's say part of it is selfish. I've been in the shit person place. I've been under the grips of arrested development. I've been under the grips of mental health conditions. And I've just generally not been the person that I wanted to grow up to be. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've also been on a journey where I've tried to improve myself and gone and cycled and cycled and cycled through, you know, like one step forward, one step backwards, and, you know, over and over. And in that moment, I had my husband standing beside me saying, you can do this, not you're never going to change. And it's important to be that voice. If people turn around and prove me wrong, that they don't ever grow, well, that's fine. That's on me. I'm okay with that. But just in case they want to grow. Yeah, you think we all have. Yeah, I think so too. Everybody, well, put it this way, everybody should have things in their past that they cringe at because that indicates growth. You don't think you'd trust Rachel with the subject of early childhood development? No. No. Well, considering that her world perspective is exclusively her own experience, no. What if we're getting it wrong? What if Amber knows Rachel will do anything for money and she's paying Rachel to troll them? Oh, cats. With the conspiracy theories. Mm-hmm. Oh, Wrinkle, I feel that. Everything in my past I cringe at. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Jade. Such an honest self-reflection, Vera. You do relate. Never lose that empathy. I never will. I never will. And in the meantime, while people aren't learning and growing, we will sass them.
of thing, although Candy's not a horrible person whatsoever, as far as I know, but her age has meant that her size is really affecting her health. And if you watch her videos, you can see this is somebody who is in very bad health, and you can't help but feel sorry for them. So I do think it's going to be interesting if the Girl World commentary continues. I don't know if I'll continue doing it.
Okay, so what Rachel's just said there is, I feel sorry for Candy because as far as I know, she's not a bad person. I don't feel sorry for Amber because she's a bad person, which implies that there is an ethical line that Rachel is defining as whether somebody is worthy of her empathy and sympathy or whether they're not. Rachel is the judge, jury, and executioner of that line. That is completely in her head. Other people do not share this line necessarily. Or if you do, it might be in a completely different place. So where exactly is Rachel's line for that empathy to be granted? I don't know. What do you do with that? I love therapy. Anyone else love therapy? Therapy is so helpful, even if you don't need it. She's insane. Maybe just full of herself. I don't know. She's very proud of herself. You know, we can give her that. Oh, you relate to I relate to your vague words, Vera. I also appreciate your mindfulness of not putting people in a box. Girl World helped me change my world. We need more creators like you in the space. Thank you so much. I think it's just acknowledging that everybody is a complex being in and of their own way, right? We all have stuff going on. We're all doing different things. We have complexities and layers. We are all onions. Your therapist would roast Rachel. B Thimbles, you're back. What did you miss? Everything. So basically, Rachel thinks people can't change. I do wonder that, Furball. And considering that her perspective is in and of her own experience, does that mean that she thinks she can't change? Interesting. Very interesting. Wrinkle. You missed the big news. Rachel has a degree. I know, I didn't know either. It's genuinely true.
Or if I'll still be doing it then. But when Amber's health does drop and decline and become really, really bad, I wonder what what the commentary community will say about her then, because it will be very difficult to not have a part of you that almost feels sorry for this person who's clearly struggling so bad.
Sorry, I will. Why is that hard? No. This is just you, Rachel. This is just your perspective. Other people do not necessarily share your perspective. And there will be, and not difficult, but there will be a part of me that feels bad for Amber. Ridiculous.
That was a lot of words from me. Let's move on to the next one. This person sent another one. Let's listen to it.
And my second hot take is that Emily will be Amber's last girlfriend, simply for the fact that Amber will pass away pretty soon. That kind of connects into the point that I was making before that there are...
Yes, Wrinkle. You can feel sorry for someone while not agreeing with them. Yeah, you can. And I can't emphasize enough to all of you how egregious the animal stuff ranks on my moral and ethical lines. Animals are everything in my life, and it hurts me to the core to watch Amber do that shit cluckery. But it still doesn't negate the fact that I can see that she's imprisoned herself in a body prison. And she has a mental health condition that makes it very difficult to get out of that. Plus the fact that she has a girlfriend with that particular predilection that is encouraging her condition. Yeah, I can see all of that as well as the animal stuff. People are complex. Hard to feel bad for someone who trolls those that just want her to get healthy. Oops, I got a deep fried banana instead of a salad. Hey, look, you might not agree with my sentiment. Your perspective is valid as well. My take is just that Rachel is trying to push her perspective on all of us. It has to be Rachel's view. And I don't like that. I've spent far too much of my life being controlled by somebody else's perspective. You know, cough, cough, my mother, cough. And I rail against it when people do this to other people. Appalling.
Studies on these kinds of things that from the moment you become morbidly obese, you have basically 20 years and that's it. Sure, there's like a radius of like plus minus 2 years, but as far as I remember, Amber has been morbidly obese for her whole adult life. You can kind of see the signs if you look for them, and more importantly, you can hear it in what she's actually saying. I distinctly remember her having like an emergency medical situation with her heart beating extremely fast. If you cannot lie flat without gasping for air, like the swelling of her arms and legs, the cyanosis, so the like blue coloration of her fingertips or her lips, the constant breathlessness, even when she's just sitting. She's been complaining about headaches, not to mention the recent neck accident, which is kind of untreated diabetes. Her wounds from playing with her cats are not closing up. Like the signs are all there, even if she doesn't.
I'm probably not surprised that, because I don't want to say too much about Rachel's community. I really believe that people can watch whoever they want to watch. If there are people in my community who also enjoy Rachel's content, I have absolutely no problems with that at all. So I don't want to say too much about these viewers, but I am detecting a little bit of a pattern where her viewers seem to be in very absolutist thinking like Rachel is. It's probably not surprising because, you know, you see someone thinking the way you do and it resonates with you and that makes sense. But Rachel did say her audience is stupid. Yeah, she did. She really did. I should keep those. I keep getting those screenshots and deleting them when I've made videos. I should just keep them because they're very helpful. Oh, valid, Carvin. Yeah, I don't feel bad for Amber, but I don't try to frame it as the correct opinion. That's the key thing, right? It's simply just what you think. You don't see people who think differently as wrong or bad. Yeah, I'm totally with you there. I agree. Liz, I've seen this everywhere. I don't know why. I can't quite decide if it was real or if it was content for the ex-husband. But why would you say something? Why would you just not be like, oh no, something's, my battery's running out, I gotta go. Most people you've met who studied philosophy are all those without the life experience to understand anything but like being verbose to appear intellectual. Yeah, I really think philosophy degrees seem to be very divisive in one of two ways, and that is either what we're looking at here and what you just described, or people who have actually allowed it to change them and change the way they think. It does seem like universities tend to spawn the former, though. Two things can be true at the same time, and boy, did she shot herself. Oh no, you feel you're having similar tummy issues to Maxie right now. You won't pull a foodie. Good job. Good job. Tummy issues be tummy issuing.
Really want to admit them.
I'm going to pause there because this voice note's super long, so I'm not going to play all of it. But yeah, I think that what the person's pointing out here is just more similar, kind of more of the same, that her health is declining and there are signs of it. And I think it's true. For the little that I know in the weight I've lost recently and like the work I've been doing on my exercise and diet and such, when you kind of learn what having all this excess fat on your skeleton does to you, hormonally, physically, in terms of your longevity. It's really scary. And I actually cut a huge section out of my last video right towards the end where I talk about this. It all got a bit like heavy and existential, so I was like, fuck that, just took it out. Didn't really fit, the video was too long anyway. I'll say a little bit of what I said there here, which was that when you think about life, like I don't want to freak you guys out. And
are you ready, Nuggets? I have no idea what she's about to say, but she's about to get philosophical on us. Are you ready? No spoilers, please.
You know, this is just a trigger warning if you don't like talking about death and stuff, but I'll put a timestamp here if you want to skip the talk about this topic. You know, we're all going to die. We're here for a short time, not a long time. And, you know, a good time, I sometimes say, not a long time. And the thing is that we're all going to die, and that'll be that, right? And nobody will care who you fought with on the LCU. And there's kind of all these sort of silly things that Amber spends all her time focusing on and thinking about, you know, buying stuff and her choosies and such. And what really matters is like your body. If your body isn't working, you won't be here. And your health is the most important thing. And it's also like boring as hell. Like having good health is basically a set of really dull habits and learning to be like, oh, I won't eat that. Like over.
I just want to pause her to interject that she is failing to see an alternate perspective of being wrapped in fear, and the life that Amber is living is actually safe, quote unquote safe, and comfortable for her. So Rachel's looking at this as the perspective of somebody who has an able body, not as somebody who has deliberately imprisoned themselves like that, made choices to stay like that, and seems to, I believe, on some level, enjoy that life.
And over and over again, right? That it's really boring. It's not sexy, it's not fun, it's not exciting. It's just like, oh, I guess I'll take a walk. Oh, I guess I'll go to the gym. Okay, I won't have that, you know, second piece of chocolate cake or whatever it might be for you, however it looks for you. And I think that, you know, chocolate cake is fine, live your life. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you consistently abuse your body, you will not be here anymore. And that will happen significantly sooner. I'm pretty sure I know what's going to happen. As time goes on, we'll have another health scare, a serious one this time, not just one that she's made up to get.
And the thing is, Amber's made this choice, just as Eugenia has made this choice. And I'm not saying that, you know, I nearly said the bad words, or the conditions that we're talking about. I'm not saying that they are as easy as to just decide your way out of them, which is actually kind of what Rachel is saying here. But I'm saying that the choice to not seek help, or to not at least attempt help, even when help is offered to you, and instead to actively make choices that will destroy your life, that is what Amber wants. To add the perspective of what Rachel is seeing in her own life, that's the choice she's made, right? She's decided, I want to be able to do more with my life. But when it boils down to just the what do you want more question, Amber wants what she has now more, but Rachel can't see that because this is not within her own experience. If that makes sense. Yeah, exactly, Amy. Amber knows she's living on borrowed time, and I've known people in this situation, and they've made that exit choice. And sometimes very knowingly and very consciously. It's just a very slow way of doing the exit. But it's an exit that has no responsibility applied to it, you know? It's just going to happen one day. There's no planning it. All she has to do is just keep on this path.
Get Emily to call her, and she will end up in the hospital or having some serious medical problems, and she will cry on camera, and she will say, this is all my fault, just like she did when she had cancer. She'll say, I wish I never did this. I did this to myself.
Oh no, I agree. She will absolutely do that.
I'm going to make a huge change, but by that point it's too late. So you actually need to make the changes right now, because now's the time when you're not unwell.
Yes, well said, Cats. I feel it's because she knows if she gets better and healthy, she can't play victim. And just to add to that thought, she will have to take responsibility for her own decisions and actions. There's a lot of comfort involved in what Amber has done, and realistically the payoff that she's getting from it is much bigger than the bad things that are happening in her life. Rachel doesn't get this. Yes, Secret Bird. Comfort zone is where you stay warm. Is where to warm up for the real tasks. Yes, Rachel, it's why it's a condition. Can't say that word. Problem a lot of the time because people can't just stop. Yeah, it's nuanced. But Amber is aware of this condition, and she's done everything in her power to increase the condition based on her job, based on her lifestyle, based on her choice of girlfriend. And at the core of it all, Amber's just terrified. She's terrified of life.
Well, so you actually can do it. By the time you're in the ER, it might not be too late, but it's not far off too late. So yeah, I could not live with like the health anxiety I would have if I was 600 pounds, and I don't know how she does it. Like, I really don't. Anyway, I'm gonna skip to the next voice note, but thank you for sending that. That was really interesting. Here is another one.
Hey Rachel, how's it going?
Hey.
So I can't officially diagnose Amber, but unofficially what she has is an insecure attachment pattern, like 100%. I think it stems from her time in foster care, but she never bothered to deal with it in any healthy way. And so since she didn't have control over like her situation as a kid, now she has to have control over everything. And she doesn't have BPD. It's just another facet of that. It's just her emotional manipulation. And so what she'll do is, like, anytime someone presents a situation where she might lose control, she'll start poking around that person's like metaphorical armor until she finds like a chink in the armor, and then she'll stab her knife in and twist until she's back in control. And it comes in either her like either yelling at him or crying or fawning or whatever it may be. It just depends on what works best in that given situation. And so yeah.
Oh boy, did I have a dark joke then, but I didn't write it. Proud of me? Not at all, Wrinkle. I like your sense of humor. You should be you. I support being you. I don't have to read it. Yeah, even Rachel's audience think they're professionals. One thing I will note, Rachel has probably chosen these. I imagine she probably had more come in than what she would have been able to put into a video. So yeah, I have no doubt that she's picking the ones that resonate with her. Hello, Demi. I need to call you Damo. That is the Aussie version of Damien, by the way. And I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, you need to be called Damo. Just arrived. Who is Rachel on the phone with? She's taking hot takes from her audience. I feel once again the Chicken Chat has depth and importance, and last time I was thinking about hot chocolate, and this time I'm thinking about my digestive distress. So you're always thinking about your stomach in one way, shape, or form. No problem, Purple. Thank you so much. Or are you saying, oh, hang on, is Jade, oh, have I messed up? Okay, whoever's going to sleep, definitely look after your sleep. Vera, don't forget Dazza. Dazza would be for Darren, though. Damien's a Damos. An important distinction.
Interesting. Thank you. Yeah, that really reminds me of what I said in my previous video.
Just stepping
about,
away real quick.
Amber being like having two different types of victim. Lynn, she does the kind of like cry, rock back and forth one, and then like the full-on attack one. That sort of reminded me of that. What you said. I think you're absolutely right. I think you've kind of described her down to the ground in that voice note. But also, I think what you said there about her having an insecure attachment style and not having BPD. In terms of the BPD, I don't know if she has BPD. She might have it. I really don't know, right? It's not for me to say. It's not really for any of us to say you don't have BPD, because like we don't know. We can see her behaviour, but if we're honest, it's a relatively small snapshot of her daily activities. So I would say it's probably pretty wrong and hard to say what she does or doesn't have from that. However, what I will say, and what I've been saying this whole time, is I think she's absolutely not diagnosed. She's not formally diagnosed. She's lied about having BPD because it helps her as a defense mechanism. And if you look at the storylines of her BPD diagnosis, they don't add up. There's huge mathematical and also just narrative errors in her storylines, and I think it's very clear that it's not true that she went to the psychiatrist and got diagnosed, and it's not true that she ever attended.
That open-mindedness that she just approached with, we don't know and it's not for us to say, with the mental health. She's also taken the same stance with the sexuality kind of. Can we expand on that, Rachel? Can we make that more of your outlook, right? Can we just like take this same thought process, this same understanding, this same comfort with not knowing and apply it to everything else? Are we talking about hot girls have stomach problems? We don't claim fruity. Do you know what's funny? Whenever I say I'm just stepping away briefly, that is my code for I'm just popping to the loo real quick. I don't even want to say that. I'd rather just say stepping away real quick. But yet there's Fruity just completely shitting herself on a live stream. We are worlds apart, her and I. Finally confirmed Australians, you felt too daft to ask. I am always happy to clear up Australianisms for anybody.
Any kind of DBT therapy, which is what she said she did. And that I am comfortable, like, being sure about. But in terms of saying if she has BPD or MPD, like, I don't know, right? If you're a therapist, you might think you know, but until you really talk to her, I would argue and analyze, whatever the word is, evaluate her, we don't really know. But the thing about the insecure attachment, I think is absolutely true. And attachment styles are like mad important. It's not been that long since I actually worked out my own attachment style, and it's so helpful because you can kind of think about who.
Okay, so she understands this because once again, it is within her own experience. We're still not stepping outside of our own head, our own set of learned circumstances.
Who you are.
The wrinkle. And now that you know that, every time you go away, you're gonna tell you to have a nice wee or poo. It's always petals, wrinkle. Always. I am a hydrated chicken. You're going to sleep, you promise. Go to sleep. You need to sleep. You had another Aussie yesterday tentatively ask you, is that an Aussie accent? We find each other here in the UK. Rachel, attached to Emily. I see your point, Veronica. I see it. The best response is always, I hope everything comes out okay. Stop it. Oh, woofer. Rachel, why would I look at the problem through their eyes? Their eyes are dumb and wrong. You know what? One day, here's what I hope for Rachel. One day I hope that she does genuinely have self-development and some better introspection and some better perspectives on the complexities of life. And I hope that she grows up and looks back on this and goes, "Cluck, I was an idiot." I wish that for her in the most loving way.
In a way that's more useful and effective. And I've been listening to talks about my attachment style, and I've been like, oh shit, yeah, that is me. Oh crap, that explains why I have this problem or that problem or whatever. And of course it all stems from childhood. And I recommend a talk or a video by, or just have a little Google of this guy, Alain de Botton. This is his name here. He talks about loads of stuff. He does the School of Life YouTube channel, but he talks loads about psychology and relationships and attachment styles. And I highly recommend like trying to work out your attachment style, because it helps you like be a better partner. But I think that although Amber knows that she's got an anxious attachment style, I think she knows she has that. But the problem is you can kind of know you have something, but you have to do the work afterwards, and that can take the shape of—
Yes, you have to know you have something, but then you have to do the work. Do the work. Actually, do you think we're at the do the work stage with Rachel, or do we think that she still hasn't realized what she's doing wrong? I don't. Okay, I've got Canadians and Americans being fascinated by Australia. Happy to answer any questions. I've heard that apparently we don't exist. Yeah, Rachel is confusing. She does double back on herself, and yeah. It does always seem to, whenever I feel like she's contradicting her previous actions or words, it does seem to boil down to that she actually does have experience in that particular thing in life. I don't think that was your attachment style that made you a bad partner. I think it was flirting with random women on the internet. To be fair, I'm sure Australians are fascinated by Australia. I don't know. Maybe. Hello, Imagination. Oh, I like the way you spelled that over on Twitch. Hello. No, it's New Zealand that's missing from a devoted Reddit thread worth of world maps. And Tasmania. You're in good company. Wrinkle, thank you. Like the stream, or Rachel will become your better partner. Do you want that, Nuggets? Like the stream, please. Protect yourselves.
Of like chatting about it to a therapist, a friend, family member, whatever, thinking about it, reading about it, looking back at your previous relationships and being like, oh shit, yeah, that is how I was, or that is what I did, and seeing patterns, and it's like, oh, that pattern has continuously happened in my life. I wonder if actually it's my fault. And in so many relationships, we think, oh, this person's not right for us, I'll move on. And then we end up back in the same position again with a different person. And it's like the third or fourth person, and you're like, how is this still happening? Like, what's going on? What's wrong with all these people? And until you turn and look at yourself and go, oh shit, yeah, it's actually me, you can't really move forward. And I think that Amber will always be.
Okay, so she does have the ability for introspection. It's just that she doesn't think she's done anything wrong. She must think we're all being maybe oversensitive or holier than thou or whatever. I don't know. American living in Scotland mistaken for Canadian. But they like your accent. It's really funny. To my ear, I can't really tell the difference between American or Canadian accents either. Projection. Yes, in a nutshell.
Stuck at this speed bump where she will not have genuine, sincere therapy. And that could be because she has NPD or is a narcissist and doesn't want to do the work or can't do the work. I don't know. Whatever it is that she's got going on, she needs to commit to like regular, good quality therapy. And that's, I would argue, the only real option that she's got. Other than that, she's not really gonna move forward, I think. I do acknowledge, though, that this is just my opinion on some lady I watch on the internet, right? She knows herself. She is herself. So, yeah, but I think it's clear that she hasn't ever had any real therapy, so I'm comfortable saying that. That's the move for Amber, in my opinion.
Sorry, one more thing. She says we can't talk about her past, and that's because she has the unresolved trauma that she's not willing to confront. We can't talk about
I've just realised this is the same person. Sorry, we're carrying on from the same person.
her present with Tommy because she knows she doesn't have the self-confidence to actually leave an unhealthy relationship.
Australia and New Zealand have a sibling relationship. They bicker and make fun of each other, but as soon as another country joins the bickering, Australia and New Zealand will turn against them. You're not wrong. Oh no, forgot your ADHD meds. 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Oh, who was that? Veronica. Thank you so much. Rachel is the type of person who would represent herself in court. Oh, that's right. Yes. And thank you so much, Veronica. I really enjoy, I don't know if any of you watch Dreading. It's a true crime channel. I love it. I love how dry the host is. But he does a lot of like episodes on people that do represent themselves. I just love watching that. And you're so right. Rachel would be one of them. Yes.
Relationship, and we can't talk about her future because unless Amber looks at
Oh no, Secret Bird. She knows she would win.
herself in the mirror long enough to either hate herself or love herself enough to actually make a change, she's not going to be alive, and we won't have there won't be a future for us to even talk about.
Interesting.
Hello, Baloney Ham. You misspelled girl. I can't say girl. It has to be girl. Otherwise, I'm like, girl. I cannot.
Yeah, the thing about the past, present, future is, I think it is quite a good point there. Yeah, she's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, and then, like, I don't know, another rock, I guess, because her past is full of trauma and negativity and poor relationships, and I think definitely some abuse. I don't know, she's dished it. I think she definitely took it as a child. I don't know what sort. I know she's lied about some of it, but I do think that, pre kind of sub 10 years old, she definitely did experience some trauma. You can't have the life she's got and the problems she's got without experiencing some kind of trauma. That's what I think. But I think that means that her past is hard, her present is hard because
Oh no. Oh no. I thought I was the person in the video. I'm horrified to be mistaken with Rachel. Oh no. Because see, I did not accommodate for new people coming in. And I love they too here, by the way, Baloney Ham. I need to put a big banner up the top saying, I am the chukin in the bottom right corner. I am not that person. Shame. Oh.
she has a job that she hates. She doesn't want to be there. She said that last night on the LCU. She hates it. She doesn't want to do it, but she has to be there because she needs the money and she's not competent to do any other work. So she's forced to continue showing up to a job that she hates. So her present is sad. She's stuck in the same four walls. She can't exercise, la la la. And then her future is also looking like it's going to be quite sad. And sometimes the problem with life, and one of the hardest things, is that the future is the only part that's not decided. The future is the only part you can actually change. But in order to change the future, you have to be able to look back at what happened in the past and take accountability for what you did to make that happen. And if you never do that, then the future will remain the same. It's like doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. If you keep being the same person, your future is going to look how your past looked because you haven't changed.
Oh my god. Did I do that? Did I do the Aussie oh no thing? Did I really? Oh no, I didn't. I thought, because that quintessential no thing is a southern dialect thing. Like, usually you'll hear it in Melbourneian accents, and I didn't think I did it, and now I feel called out. Okay, my nuggets, it is Tay-Tay bedtime. So I'm just going to go really quickly do that. I'm going to leave the video playing, and then I will be right back. Enjoy Rachel while I'm gone.
The only thing that will really change your life is changing yourself. And I know I'm like kind of waxing lyrical here. It's hard work. I'm trying to do it myself. I'm not saying I'm by any means perfect at it, but you have to kind of acknowledge like, this is where I fucked up, so that you can not be like that in the future, and therefore your future might look different. But if you never do that and you never say, these are my flaws, these are my errors, these are the things I'm going to do to fix that, then your future will look exactly how your present looks. And I think that's the fear for Amber, that nothing will ever change because she has not changed. And then of course there's the obvious concern that her future is also going to contain some serious significant health crises. So that doesn't help either. Somebody sent this message in, which I thought was interesting. I'm going to read a little bit of it. They say, I don't think her brain understands shame as its own thing at all, because whenever she feels ashamed, it comes out as anger. She becomes defensive and aggressive, even if the shaming in question comes from a caring place, from a close person who supports her, like, girl, you cannot stay with your feeder girlfriend for your own sake. She cannot comprehend that in any way. So whenever someone's pointing there's shame in what she's doing, she feels attacked, like any shaming is a bad critique or a direct attack on her. She thinks shame always comes from hate. That's interesting. I think the point about shame is very fascinating, because when you feel ashamed of yourself, it forces you to admit like, I screwed up. So I'm ashamed of my past actions because I screwed up. And if you never admit that you screwed up, you can't be ashamed. You don't, you feel shame and then immediately be like, I must shun this emotion, because the end point of shame is admitting your failure and your flaws. So that kind of ties into what we just talked about. I think you're right there that, shame is not something that Amber is comfortable feeling. I'm not sure how comfortable she is feeling many emotions, if we're honest, besides anger. Let's try this one.
Hi Rachel, I'm not sure when you're
Hi.
doing another one of your voice message videos next, but I just thought I'd say this while I have it in my mind. But I'm currently watching a reaction to one of the first episodes of World Cow Bus, and it's when Tina comes on and just starts hounding into Amber, and Amber's reaction to finding out that Tina knows of her law, she immediately just jumps to that because Tina doesn't like her, obviously she's just been influenced by distractors and reaction channels. She really can't, this is more of an observation than a theory, but she really can't wrap her head around that people don't like her for her, She's so convinced that people she's perfect, she's really likable, she's so amazing, that the second someone doesn't, it's because someone had to have influenced them to not like her, She really can't wrap her head around that people don't like her from what she's uploaded. It's she's really convinced that she's actually likable, even in the content that she's posted. Even though a lot of it, we don't like her because of stuff she's posted, she can't wrap her head around that she's done something wrong to not be liked.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think part of the problem with that as well, is kind of ties into the same stuff. She doesn't really want to admit her own flaws or do any kind of, self-analysis, soul-searching, whatever you want to call it. But I think also a big part of that is that she has, in reaction channels or detractors, a fantastic excuse. Anybody who wants to level criticism against her, she can say, well, you only hate me because of all the detractors. And I don't know, you can let me know in the comments if you guys know, but I don't know how many other internet communities there are with such a busy, vibrant, lucrative community surrounding them, which is only about them. What Amber's kind of got in the Amberverse, Girl World or whatever, is that I would say probably quite an interesting study on internet behaviour and how people respond to criticism and such. I'm sure somebody has done a kind of really meta Girl World analysis video somewhere, although lots of them are made by people who don't really understand Girl World, so the videos are not very good, the ones I've seen. But I think that will be something that will be affecting Amber. She feels that any criticism that she receives is because people have engaged with this stuff, about her rather than her specifically. But what I think she misses there, and what you appear to have pointed out, is that the stuff that people say about her, the detractors, whoever, the stuff they say about her, we got it from her. I used to watch Amber, and many of these people used to watch Amber directly, and then they realise, holy shit, this person is horrendous, and so they go on to make the content they make. and they only ever talk about her, what she has posted, recorded, and put on the internet. And that's the thing, she monetized it, she sold the content, you know? So she can't be mad then when people comment and criticize, because she chose to put that stuff on the internet, you know?
Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
My theory is about basically Emily and Amberlynn's relationship. So, although I do believe that Emily is a feeder, I believe that mostly her kink comes from how she can not necessarily control people, but how she can affect people and her ability to see that effect. So in the feederism community, of course, she can actively see her partners gaining weight or perhaps just not losing it. And she can see that her own actions had something to do with that effect. And particularly with Amberlynn, I think you have mentioned that, yes, I think she kind of just does that to herself. Emily doesn't need to do anything. But I also do think that Emily perhaps thought that by going to reaction channels, by saying all the things that she has, that would absolutely have an effect on Amberlynn. And she could then therefore see that effect on Amberlynn, especially since they apparently stayed together after she had done so, at least gone to reaction channels. So I believe that that was her way of seeing her kink play out, the kink of having an effect on somebody else. And it just so happened that Amberlynn is a bigger person and kind of doesn't need to be told to eat. So it seems to be a little bit of a win-win for Emily in that sense. And yeah, that's kind of my theory.
Yeah, I think that the thing about, there's kind of two different points there that you've made. One of them is that
I am back. What did I miss? Oh, good. I missed looking at her. Whoops, looking at her face. Rachel is very modest. She doesn't mention her own credentials as much as she doesn't want to brag. Did she really? Hello, Hell's Ice Supply. How's business? They don't understand girlhood like I do. Okay, so I missed Rachel being Rachel. Is that what you're telling me?
Emily's kink might not so much be the actual food part of it or whatever, but it's about having an effect on somebody else. That's really an interesting thought. And the other thing that makes me think about is this question of, well, why is Emily into that in the first place? Why is it that, you know, she's so attracted to people that are so big? And she's talked about it here and there, and she's described it as it's just a chemical thing. She's always had it since she was young, but there must be some sort of reason, and I wonder what that might be. I don't know anything about how these things form, so I'm not sure, but I think that would be worth thinking through. If anybody knows much about how these things form, let me know in the comments. But to your main point about Emily liking having an effect on somebody, I wonder if that is a power thing, that you can, I don't know, you can take action and see somebody else be.
This is exactly my sentiment on Rachel. Like, if this weren't so dark, it would be comical. Because this is exactly what I think she's doing with Emily. This is absurd. Oh, why is Rachel flirting with predilection people? I don't know. I don't know.
Be affected by what you do, and I think that she's done that in multiple ways to Amber, in terms of probably arguably the food stuff, but also coming to reaction channels, like coming to me, telling me a bunch of stuff. I release it, it hurts Amber. Emily enjoyed that. It appears that she enjoyed that, and that is quite telling. She could have just kind of put her hands up and been like, I want no more to do with this, I don't want anything to do with this, but for some reason she wanted to get stuck.
With the what? Oh, you also missed that we think if she got probed by aliens that she might be more interested to listen to rather than being put to sleep. Hello, Brittany's little sister. I nearly called you Brittany, but that would be incorrect, wouldn't it? Hello, 4 a.m. My goodness. Just going to sleep or just waking up? 5 a.m.? You nuggets are dedicated. Oh, yes, for sure. She considers herself the Amberverse expert for sure. Damn, this is hard to watch and listen to. She really has that vibe, and it's an exception that I take because, like, she and I actually started in Girl World at fairly similar times. She had a bit of a head start subscriber-wise because she converted a previous channel. I started from scratch with no support from a previous platform, but we did start at about the same time. I don't know how long she's been listening to Girl World. I've been listening for quite a while. I still defer to the people that have been doing it for like the better part of a decade or more, who have seen everything play out as like they are the elders, so to speak. Do you get what I mean? Not that people deserve respect just based on the duration that they've been to, but they've seen some shit, right? But then I nearly called her Amber again. Rachel comes along and is like, oh no, I am the expert. I've been here for like 5 minutes, but look at me, I know everything, and all of you are idiots. Yes, exactly. She started in Girl World in August 2024. I started in November 2024. So very, very close. Yes, Boob Cat, this. There is something going on there. She thought she was an expert day 2. Really? I believe it. Oh, was that her first video? I haven't seen that one. First video was about Amber and Emily being a feeder. And it kicked off. And she had something good going for a while. If she hadn't have shown who she really is underneath it all, we'd probably all still be watching her, wouldn't we? Wrinkle. That pause. That pause looks like Rachel just sharded. Do you think that's... Yeah, that's pretty much what Chantel looked like. That stare. Yeah, stare into the soul, my nuggets. Don't get lost. Yes, Emily struck that video. Yet I have it, somehow. Don't I, my nuggets?
Back into Girl World, she happily sent me those screenshots. She wanted to be involved with it, and that has always been very weird to me. She's always been far more...
An interesting take from Woofer here. Right out of the gate, she dove head first into the poo. Sewer spelunking, I'm telling you. It's what it is. She's different than the rest of us. Are you considered a Girl World elder if you started following in like 2019 or 2020? Oh, that is pretty far back, isn't it? But it's not at the beginning. Let's not say elder, but let's say mature viewer. Not quite. Try 2017. Do we have a 2014?
more active in the community than I think she would be if she really didn't want to be a part of it the way she claims she does. Why is she still watching and reporting my videos? Why is she still watching other reaction channels? Why is she still in the LCU? Hasn't she got her own life? And that's what's always confused me. It's like she wants in, but she doesn't want in, and she can't really decide, and it's very weird. Thanks for that. That was a cool thought. Let's listen to this one.
Hi Rachel, this
Hi.
is my Amberlynn Reid hot take. I think her continuing on lolcow is the beginning of the end. The persona
Sorry, I just realized that these are supposed to be hot takes. Look. And the viewer just said it. What of these have actually been hot takes so far? Because, like, wouldn't a hot take be, like, an extreme opinion or an unpopular opinion or something that's really out there? Otherwise, it's just a take. It's not hot. You think you're the crypt keeper you've shamefully been watching since Crystal. Now, see, this right here, this is an elder. Congratulations. Spelunking is the thing a lot of people past in the past, isn't it? They went in too deep. Yes, yes. Goodness me, since Crystal, I'm impressed, honestly. That is some longevity you've got there. Navira being angry about the tea being not hot. How on Rachel's channel, how long's it been since the tea has actually been hot? Goodness.
She's playing is so insufferable and frustrating that people will stop looking for her to take accountability or admit anything and give up on her entirely to switch to someone who can be redeemed or saved, so to speak. The more blatantly she lies without any attempt at seeming honest or self-preserving, the less entertaining and satisfying it is to corner her in those lies. She is genuinely losing it, and a car crash is only fun to watch for so long. Unless she does migrate back to her own channel. I think her viewership on LOLcow is bound for a steady decline.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think whether or not she ends up back on her own channel is going to be quite interesting to see. If she goes back on her own channel, she can try and fight for this redemptive narrative. She can try, at least, to pretend to be the kind of person who didn't really mean it when she was being a lol cow. And the version we'll see of her on her own channel is the real Amber, and that we should all watch that and believe that, and that's, you know, that's really her. But I think that nobody will really believe that because the way she's behaved on her own.
Now, see, that's a hot take, Jade. Rachel got scolded and thinks she's playing it safe now. You're probably right. Even though she's still inserting herself, she probably does think she's, you know, being cleaner about it. You remember Amber coming up on your YouTube recommended videos when you had a toddler and a newborn, which means apparently I've been around since 2014 on and off. An elder. We shall respect you. Right, I haven't heard of Tom Harlock. But I've gone through a range of reaction channels as well before I eventually cracked the shits and was like, nobody's talking about the way I see it. So here I am, my nuggets.
Channel in the past perfectly aligns with how she's behaved on the LCU. So we know who she really is, at least who she appears to be, because she's been the same on both platforms. The thing you said about the more blatantly she lies, the less satisfying it is to catch her in her lie is so true. It's become...
Yeah, that's the crux of Rachel's entire argument, is catching Amber in lies. But she's saying that it's less satisfying. I don't know.
Where there'll be lies we can prove, like the lying about the hair dyeing, for example, where in that episode of Lolcow Bus, she tries to say that the reason her neck is dark is because she's dyed her hair, which is just so clearly untrue. And there have been many lies like this across her time on the LCU, where it's so obvious that she's lying, and yet some...
We've gotten to the part of the evening where I'm bored of listening to Rachel talk and I'm becoming more entertained by what you all have to say, and I'm sorry, I will refocus myself. But Chazzy? Okay. Crystal equals ancient. Destiny equals elderly. Should we just say elder? Beck, middle-aged. Jade, adult. Valentine, child / teen, maybe adolescent. And anything after Valentine is infant. So how old are you all? It's like Girl World timeline ages. So I would be... Oh, do you know what? I would actually be, on that scale, fairly youthful, shall we say. She was trolling about the neck. It's not like she was just lying to actually say it was hair dye. Another elder! Look, there's so many of you. See, this is why... when things come up, I defer to the greater wisdom of the community, because I think a lot of you have been here longer than I have. I will say, though, Girl World got me through a very rough time at the beginning when I started watching, and there's been no looking back since.
somehow she insists on continuing with this storyline, and it's very weird. And you're right, it kind of cheapens it to where nothing she says should be taken or can be taken as true because she's lied so much, and she's lent into that so much on Lolcow Bus that it's become like, well, why even watch? Why even bother watching when you know what you're seeing is fake? And I think the hope of redemption, as much as we probably don't want to admit it, some people anyway probably don't want to admit it, I think is a running factor in Girl World, because you want to see kind of Amber turn it around and admit to her lies and lose weight and save her own life, because that's really the only redemptive narrative that there can be. And sure, it's fun and hilarious to laugh and watch and hee and stuff about how, you know, awful she is and what a train wreck she is, but deep down, most of us are relatively chill people who, if you really put our feet to the fire and said, listen, what do you really want for Amber? The truth is, I would like to see her redeem herself in some way or another. I don't think she'll ever redeem herself online. I don't think it's possible for her to redeem her credibility with her audience or anything like that. But I think she could redeem herself in her own personal life through work, weight loss therapy, etc. And
what do you think, my nuggets? Do you think it's possible for Amber to redeem herself? I actually do think that she could, with an exquisite amount of work. I think she could turn her reputation around, but it would require consistency and conviction that Amber thus far has not proven that she has the ability to do. Not to say that she couldn't, but yes. Hello, Spicy Ginger. Popping in to say hi to my nugget gang, chicken butt. Today's very busy morning. See you in the replay. Thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate that. Good luck with your busy day. You think it would take something really bad to happen? I think, yeah, I think that's possible for sure. Who was that? Veronica. Thank you so much again. I watch a lot of documentaries shaped by the algorithm came up. I watched all the episodes, then thought Amber was playing a character. Boy, was I wrong. That's actually how I got sucked in as well. Exactly that series. It was a good series. It really was. I actually really liked that vibe of Snowflake storytelling a lot. I actually didn't know that Snowflake did buy all of Amber's stuff. I thought he was just storytelling. I thought it was part of the sarcasm. But yeah. Yeah, she can redeem herself, but I also watch LCs who wear diapers and LCs like Cyrax. So in comparison, she isn't that bad. Yeah. That's saying something, isn't it?
you know, you want that for her, because if I don't want that, then what do I want? I just want to see her die? Like, no, that's awful. So even though she's a horrible person, I want to see her be held accountable, but truly deep down, I would like to see her have a successful arc, because I want that for anyone, for the most part, within reason, because, I don't know, sitting around wanting the worst thing ever to happen to somebody, just, it is like, I don't know, if you follow that logic through, it just makes you a horrible person as well, I think, maybe.
This is the opposite of what she said earlier in this video. Just pointing that out. Like, the complete opposite. If this was a video, I would go back and re-edit what she said earlier and just overlay it. Yes, Amber would need to show actual remorse while actually visibly losing weight for me to turn around on her. Yes, and I would also like to see ruthless and relentless open book, like where even if it's, you know, completely unbecoming, she just relentlessly tells the truth on everything. And I think with time, I do think people would, like, combined with what you said, I think people would come around, but it would take so much wading through hate before that started to turn around, but it would. Yeah, Jade, Amber is going to go, Amber is going to have a tough go to redemption and think she has to go offline. I think any sort of healing with Amber, it would be best to be done offline, whether it's physically or mentally. No, because she'll never put in the effort to change. So while hypothetically she could, she probably won't. And unfortunately, when it comes to Amber, time is not on her side at present. I'd say she absolutely could redeem herself if she were in her 20s. Yeah, so what I was just, yeah. But she's a finished product now. Oh, no, don't say finished product. No, we can all keep refining ourselves. And I fear that she's been in it for too long now to realistically be capable of major change. It's just, yeah, that timing thing is going to be an issue for her. Yeah, Liz, I started DBT when Amber was talking about starting DBT. For her sake, I wish she'd stuck to it. She, like Eugenia, needs to get offline if she wants to heal. And yet Eugenia was forced offline and didn't take the opportunity. It was disappointing to watch.
I don't think that she is going to probably be redeemed. I think it's going to be a very sad story with a very sad, sticky end. But the hope of the possibility of some kind of redemption, I think that plays a role in Girl World. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. That was my first thing.
I think you are talking out of both sides of your mouth. Whichever sounds the most right or intellectual in the moment is what Rachel's saying, which makes me think she's either not listening to herself or she doesn't believe what she's saying.
Thinking of that thought. So that felt like one of those ones that I might watch back in the edit and be like, yeah, I don't really think that actually. So I don't know. I might leave this in, but yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. We have a couple more. Here is the second to last one.
Hi, Rachel. Sorry for my accent. I think Amber does not...
You guys always apologize for your accents, and it's so strange to me. Like, I don't care.
I make no apologies. Cluck y'all.
I'm just impressed you can speak more than one language, to be honest.
Want to lose weight, and maybe subconsciously for a deeper reason than just pleasing Justin Feeder. I think being this weight is her get out of jail card. It's her excuse, because if she loses weight, she will still be miserable. She will still have a life she does not want, and that's because she won't get her shit together. She won't go to therapy. She won't do anything to better her life. But now she can blame it on her weight. When she gets defensive, she says, I'm 500 pounds. Yes, but I'm 500.
I love this woman's accent. Does anybody know what this is? It's beautiful. Good morning, Cassia from Glasgow, Scotland. Hello, not now Sherbet, just saying hi. Hello. I never apologize for my accent. I loudly declare you're welcome. What is your accent? Just so I know. So that I can put the appropriate imagery with the you're welcome. Is it French? Is it French that isn't necessarily in France, or is it like a particular dialect? It's stunning. I love it, and I could listen to her read from a phone book. You think she needs a My Name is Earl arc for people to even consider forgiveness? That would be something to behold. I would be here for that. Yeah, genetics is amazing. You're actually surprised that she made it to her mid-30s without any real serious issues yet. I mean, define serious though, because that lipedema turned lymphedema is a very serious issue and potentially lifelong, even with like weight loss. I mean, not a single heart attack yet, or liver or kidney failure, gallbladder rupture, and so on. Yeah, you're right. And people say that about Eugenia as well, like how it's genetics only takes you so far. It's the same as mine. There you go. Yeah, no, who doesn't like an Aussie accent, right? Your Portuguese Boston accent is something else. I love the sound of that. I cannot imagine it. would love to hear it, Veronica.
£100, da da da. And similarly, because she has such low self-esteem, it's also a way to brag. She says, I'm 500 pounds and I still do this. As a 500 pounds woman, I can do this. Even if it's not true, so it's her excuse and a way to brag. I don't know if I make sense.
Yeah, no, you totally do. I think another kind of extension of that is that, in a funny kind of way, her talking about bragging about being £600 or £500 or whatever, in a funny way, I think she sees that as something of a success, because she is more successful at being a fatso than most people. So she's like, I'm 500 whole pounds, and she kind of like bounces her chest and fetishizes herself in a funny kind of way, or sexualizes herself and other people, because in a weird way she's been super successful at being massive. So there's sort of this like thing at play where she's done a great job of being huge, you know? And I think in the LCU, that
being in a feedback loop like that is absolutely part of it, which is why it's why getting offline, I think, would be needed. Didn't she say fat suit? Where she clipped the T. Well, I mean, considering weight, she's had a fraction of what she's supposed to get as comorbidity. That's fair, Coco. The cancer is basically obesity related, if we want to simplify. Yeah, that's fair. It is French? Oh, well, no wonder it sounds beautiful. She said fatso? I don't.
That's almost validated, because her being massive and fat and awful is what they want from her. So she's almost in the perfect place, you know? And I think a lot of personal work would have to be done to unpick the identity issues that surround her weight. And I think you might be right that she'd still be miserable if she lost all the weight. I don't know. She probably would be dangerous, because she could drive and turn up outside your house, which is scary. There's a line in my favourite rapper, Dave, his new, relatively new-ish album, this album, I'll put it here. There's a line in that where he says something like, how to get rid of pain when the pain is your identity, or something like that. I can't remember the exact line, but yeah, it's kind of a similar thing. It's like, this bad thing is part of who you are. How do you extrapolate yourself from the struggle which made you who you are? So I think, in a funny kind of way, Amber's weight is that. Her being so huge and so fat has been eating as self-soothing, and her size is kind of used as a defense mechanism. And if she were to lose weight, I truly think that she doesn't know who she would be. And I think that,
having gone through that, I actually have a take. I got so ridiculously sick of myself. Have you ever been in that situation where you're over it? You're over all of your bullshit, over all of your nonsense, and it's just something has to change. You realize that the way you've been viewing the world, the way you've been interacting with the world up to this point has not been serving you. It's only been holding you back. And so that's the point where you turn around and go, I have to change this. I have to change this, or I lose so much. And that's why I keep talking about the what do you want more question, because it's like it becomes that question, and when the answer is I want change more than I want to stay me, that's where you start making meaningful change. Amber hasn't gotten to that point yet. Rachel hasn't gotten to that point yet. But yeah, turning 30 did it for you. So you had the catalyst happening of an age, and I think for the most part there is going to be a catalyst that happens, and it could be a health event, it could be a circumstance that comes up where you absolutely need to change, or there's a whole host of things, but the catalyst needs to be there, and then the work needs to be done to follow through with it. Are we talking about cats? Tripod kitty? Who has a tripod kitty? I've missed this. Oh, now I've missed it and I'm sad. So I was like, holy shit, I'm an actual adult. I feel that. Oh, is it wrinkles? Yes, please put one in the community tab and then yell at me to check it, please. Oh, it did. I just had an amputation. Poor baby. Definitely share a picture if you can on my community tab. I will show the world. Be sure to yell at me, everybody.
That could be a problem because of MPD or something, maybe, or a personality issue, could be. Or it could just be that to know who you are, you have to be so fucking for real with yourself.
I love that. About a month ago, a wound went bad and he's finally getting better and is climbing up his cat tower. That cat is going to be unstoppable. Cats have or not just cats, animals have a drive, don't they? I'm glad that it turned out well. No, on my whoops. If you go to my channel and upload, see it says community in there. You can upload photos in there. And I will check them. Oh, and look at this. Cramblings. Hopefully Bartholomew on the keyboard doesn't mod anyone in the current stream. I love that. He's such a big cat. He's gorgeous. But yeah, that's where it goes. Yeah.
And that's like hard as hell. So I reckon that she'll kind of stay in this state, this kind of toddler-esque state where she maintains her weight at this size so that she can keep that identity, and that is her problem. She never has to have any new problems because she's still trying to deal with this current problem, and it means she can bat away any other concerns. So yeah, that's kind of my thought to what you said. We have got one more, and then we have a message I'm going to read, which I thought was super interesting about the lesbian stuff. So let's listen to this one, and then we'll do the lesbianism.
Oh my god, hi. Love your work, first of all. Amazing. I could listen to you reacting to someone watching paint dry. I just love the way you talk. Ugh. Okay, so secondly,
unrelatable content.
I'm not going to give you my fully unhinged opinion because I don't know how unhinged you want to go. So I'm just going to go with just a regular hinged opinion I have about Amber Lynn. I know that some people think she is a feeder and she likes being fat. I actually think she doesn't. I think she hates it more than anything. And
I think it's complex. I think that she loves the comfort. I think she hates the state. I think it's complicated. Hello, French. Some animals have a drive. Your old bear keeps trying to leap for your onions when you have shopping delivered. Cats can't eat onions. Either can chickens. Zero survival instincts. I relate to that. I have 3 highline chickens that have never known a bad day in their entire life. They have no idea what the world can offer. Sorry, and their survival instincts are just out the window. They really are. It's absurd. You hate this, that this caller has an Aussie accent? Or pigs? So is it just us that can eat onions? Because dogs can't either, I believe.
I think that if she could snap her fingers and wake up tomorrow as a skinny queen with no stretch marks, no loose skin, no health issues, nothing, she 100% would, without a doubt. I think she's just so lazy, and she's so she just enjoys being the victim and sort of having that mentality of, well, I'm fat and there's nothing I can do about it, and playing the fat phobia card. I think she likes that sort of sympathy and victim mentality that it gives her. I just think she's way too lazy to sort of put in the effort to actually be thin, especially because if she was to get thin, she would have a lot of loose skin, and she would never sort of have.
Oh, Les, I love that. You're on your 250th feral cat you've neutered, vaccinated, and found a home for. That is amazing. I adore you. Yeah. The world needs more people like you. Speedy recovery, please.
Like a normal body without a lot of surgery and stuff, she would still kind of look a bit odd. And I think to her, she would rather just be fat and be on these ridiculous lol cow series, because at least she could make money off it. Whereas the other option is just too much effort. It requires too much hard work. And I just think she's way too lazy for that. But I think that if she could just snap her fingers and be skinny.
I know that I've had this rant before. I don't like the lazy thing. It's an oversimplification. It's dismissing it without giving it any decent thought at all. And I just there's so much more to this situation than to just describe it with one word.
Skinny, 100% she would. She just will never put in the effort to do it. Okay, bye.
Bye. Yeah, I think that it's interesting there because you started out by saying that Amber probably does want to be skinny and would snap her fingers and lose weight if she could, but then you said a bunch of reasons why it would be hard for her if she lost weight, and actually she still likes being fat in a funny kind of way because it gives her a defense mechanism, similarly to what the previous person said. And I think what that kind of shows in the way you've spoken there is you've kind of batted back different points about this, and I think that's what is going on for Amber. I don't think it's anywhere near as simple as I wish I was skinny, I wish I wasn't skinny, I want X, I don't want X. I think it's so complicated and so fused with who she is as a person and how she's developed as a human being that she probably doesn't know what the hell she wants. But I agree with you. I think that as a maybe narcissist, or somebody who has narcissistic tendencies or whatever, or even just somebody with Amber's character, you can put it that way if you don't like the labeling or the attempted labeling, that she doesn't want to be one of those people who's lost a shit ton of weight and has loose skin and has surgery scars and all of that. And her legs, even if she lost 2/3 of her body weight, her legs would still look strange, like you've said. Her skin would droop over her feet, and even after surgery her legs still wouldn't look normal. No matter what she does, she's never going to look normal. Like if you look at Tammy Slayton, you look at her now, she's had loads of corrective surgery and such, and don't get me wrong, she looks great, but she doesn't look, normal's not the right word, but she looks like somebody who has been through that physical change. And in a way,
every now and then Rachel has these glimmers of hope that she kind of is able to see outside of what's immediately in front of her and what's in her experience. It just never seems to be able to persist. Yes, this.
and I think of it as a badge of honour, and it is a badge of honour, but in a way, I think Amber just thinks, well, if I do all the work and lose all that weight and end up looking like that, I'm still not going to be the version of myself I see in my head, the beauty queen, Barbie doll, that I feel like I ought to have been, that the real me, that exists in this kind of imaginary plane in her mind. Because she'll never be that, I think she's just satisfied being whatever, because no matter what she is, it will never be the way she imagines herself in her head, you know what I mean? And I think part of that does kind of play into the whole she wants to be fat, she doesn't want to be fat thing, because it's so much more complicated than just that, and the thing she really wants she can never truly have.
Well, the body that she's in just enables her to not take responsibility and to not basically be an adult the way that the rest of us are, and that's pretty much the state of it. Oh, cat tax. I'm looking. Okay. Oh, my boy Tumble. He could lick his wounds over his collar, so we had to be imaginative with the duct tape. Oh, but you can tell from one of the other pics he isn't a huge fan. Oh, the poor boy. Oh, how gorgeous. Look at that face. And he's just managing to do that. That's so cool. That's really cool to see. What is cat tax? French, I've forgotten how old you are, but it's like a 2008 thing? Sorry, Wrinkle, I may have just outed your age. Oh, Jade, thank you. So lovely to find you. You have such a fair and empathetic takes. Thank you. He's beautiful. I'm so glad that he's doing better. Gorgeous boy.
been filming this, somebody has sent me another voice note, so we'll listen to that one in a second. First, I'm going to read you this comment. It's actually a message I got on Instagram this morning, and it's very interesting about Amber's lesbianism. This person says, Amber's "this is why I'm a lesbian" comment was meant to imply that she hates the general disposition of men. The comment this person's talking about here is in the second to last Lolcow Bus episode, right near the end. Amber goes, "This is why I'm a lesbian," and she's talking about men behaving a certain way is what makes her a lesbian. And I was like, what the hell? And there were some really interesting comments under that video about that.
Oh goodness, are we about to get some really bad sexuality takes from Rachel? Let's just hold on to your chicken toes, okay?
Go look through those if you like, but that's what this person's talking about. And he says, but she sees men as bullish and stubborn. She was accusing them of gaslighting her, and she was upset the whole stream because they wouldn't submit to her narrative of events. That, in capital letters, is why Amber's a lesbian. It's something you've picked up on recently. I think you're absolutely spot on about it. She finds women much more easily manipulatable than men, especially with how loud and aggressive we see her online. We can only assume it's as bad or worse when the cameras are off. I think that's probably true. The statement was basically her saying, my manipulation tactics don't work as well on men, so I choose women because I need to control my partner. And like, what a fantastic point. I think that person is so right. It's not so much that she's a lesbian because of men in the sense that she sort of uses the way men have treated her to be a lesbian or whatever other bullshit it might be. It's that she's a lesbian because women are easier to manipulate than men, and we saw that happen in that live stream when Tech would not let go of it and kept saying that Amber was a...
And we're back to oversimplifying. Oh, I knew we'd get there. Yeah. Hey, Asha. Hello. Pretty misogynistic take. Yep. In fairness, biphobia is a real thing. This idea that we're just undecided, that's fair. That is very fair. My take on this is, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Who Amber prefers, who she doesn't, I don't care. I really don't care. I find it interesting that Rachel keeps bringing it up. It's just, I think there is some performativeness on Amber's behalf. Look, I'm a lesbian. Let me tell you the truth. Women are crazy, and it's not because men are harder to manipulate. I do suspect, like, if I had to guess, I think that there might be some fear surrounding Amber not being with men. If she wants to, if she doesn't, whatever. I think that it's, if milestones have been missed, which I suspect Amber has missed many milestones, that she might feel like she can't at this point, or is too scared to, or would look inferior in some way. And it's just, I don't know. Basically, I think Rachel is going to sit here with internalized misogyny and tell us exactly how lesbian is and lesbian does. And I feel like we've done this before. And my nuggets, I am getting a 5-minute dinner warning from the husband. So I do need to finish up for this evening, but we pretty much got through it. I'm impressed with us. Oh no, can't find the community post on your phone. You'll have to go on the PC. Definitely do. I want to go through them at the beginning of every stream now that my community tab is working again. Many people have come up with the theory that's why she chooses to date women. You've seen that argument made many times. Yeah. Your pen that's saying bye is sometimes simpler. Especially to people if they're not going to acknowledge more than 2 genders. Pan doesn't make sense if you're in that camp. Wouldn't matter what my sexuality was. I don't want any of the fat love triangle. Rachel does though, doesn't she? You'll post your kitty. I love it. Okay, you're bi. Men and women are so different in relationships. Roles do change for sure, depending on type of person / sex of the person. I'm more feminine with men, more manly with women. Interesting. Interesting. See, this is the thing I think we came to on the last stream that we talked about with this. And sexuality is not just a sliding scale. It is a fully 3-dimensional graph spectrum thing where people can land all over the place. And to oversimplify it in the way that Rachel is doing at the moment, I think speaks a lot about how she views her sexuality. And why do I always feel like I'm saying with Rachel, she's oversimplifying, I don't know. Maybe this is how she's able to get her head around it to understand. I don't know, but yes. But if the stream ends, I'll run out of procrastination excuses to doing your timesheet that you need to get done to get paid tomorrow. Cramblings, you need to get paid tomorrow. Okay, my nuggets, thank you so much for a fantastic stream, and I did it really not feeling 100%, and you all just made it so amazing, and I knew it would be incredible. That's why I didn't want to miss it. But thank you so much to everybody who has been chatting and everybody who's lurking, and all of my mods who are in here tonight. Thank you so much. To my new Cluckers and also my super chatters. Thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. But that's all the clocks I have left to give. Stay golden, my little nuggets, and I'll catch you next time.